feel like someone in their 40s, like if it was even gray, it would be even cooler. You know,
Oh,
like you ever see those people? You're like, that dude's trying too hard. Like that's me, except
yours,
I'm not trying. I'm
you're
just
at all.
Did you literally say that I have crust?
I don't know.
My hair's like so. I feel like people think that I might do my hair like this on purpose, but I actually just wake up and come to the office, and because I sleep, I like toss and turn. It literally keeps pushing my hair up on both sides, so I get this like natural little mohawk, and I totally dig it. like I feel like someone in their 40s, like if it was even gray, it would be even cooler. You know,
Oh,
like you ever see those people? You're like, that dude's trying too hard. Like that's me, except I'm
yours,
not trying. I'm
you're
just
at all.
at all. He's like that person's trying to stay
You're
young.
a night shower.
I am a night shower.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have. Matter of fact, I have to shower in order to go to sleep.
he does. And like if he showers at 5 and happens to like feel the outside air for 5 minutes before he goes to bed, then it's like justifies another shower.
Or sometimes I just wash my feet
Yeah.
because I have to have clean feet going into bed.
Yeah. It's not a problem of mine.
Which, by the way, reminds me because we are going to the lake this weekend. We
For
got
the Abbott family extravaganza.
the extravaganza. We have all kinds of
It
people
was
coming
not
into town.
originally going to be an extravaganza.
anything,
It was
man.
just the weekend Bree was going to meet baby Abigail, but it has turned into a family reunion,
Yeah, and I was like,
which
oh,
is
hey,
great.
why don't we go to the lake? And then all of a sudden my sister's like, oh, we should go. But then my brother-in-law Brad couldn't get off. And then she's like, okay, but I'll leave him. And then just bring the kids. And so then they're coming. And then my mom's like, I think me and Aunt Linda would love to meet in the middle and just hang out and see you guys. So all of a sudden it's like most of the Abbott clan in this area is like going to be there.
It's an extravaganza.
It's an extravaganza.
Yes.
But what I was going to say is that, you know, there's the lake and then we have a beach, a 300-foot beach, and we have beautiful white sand. And that sand gets everywhere. And then that sand gets in our unit, obviously, because we're just walking in and out. And then you take a shower, and then you're walking in the unit, and then you feel sand. And then you get in bed, and you have sand. And so we need like little teeny carpets next to our bed so that we can like brush the sand off.
Right
And
now,
then
everything's tiled.
it's all
I
tiled.
rinse my feet every time I go inside, and I'm usually pretty good about not getting sand in, but you are not. And it's the lake, so I don't care.
It is surprising that you don't care. I mean, it's because you do care on so many other things.
Well, once we redo the floors,
Then
I'll
you're gonna care?
a lot more.
Oh gosh, then we'll never redo the floors because I don't want to care.
We have like a massive crack through the foundation of our tile.
Yeah, I think we
at
got
the
a
lake.
discount because everyone's like, I think this thing's falling in half. And it's like, no, it's Florida, man.
It just
things
settled.
settle.
Yeah. It is crazy. Like builders in Florida have warranties for a year after the fact. And most of the time they're like, don't be alarmed if an entire, section of your house cracks straight through the tile for like 10, 20 feet. That's the house settling. You're like,
Right.
oh,
Oh,
because it's
really?
new builds. I mean, people in the Midwest are so used to living in homes that were built 30, 40 years ago. Like that shit's settled.
Oh yeah, no, that's settled. Yeah, no, these were built in 2007, like right before the crash.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because like people are kind of buying and selling units. We just picked up another unit. We have friends that are upgrading to a bigger unit. And what's interesting is that the prices we're paying still are not at the sales price of what it was in 2007.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like even our thing has gone up in value, another 25% since we bought, and it still hasn't got to this price it sold in 2007.
Well,
and it's furnished.
the housing market is
It's a small town right there.
yeah, but in general, the housing market is pretty crazy right now. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
I know. I wonder if our friends up north have gotten any bites on their house. They
Yeah,
haven't said
that we're
anything. I think when we
looking.
see them, we'll know.
I know. We know some people looking to buy a house right now, and it's just prices are insane, and you can't.
Prices are insane. And even, on our side here, we have someone on the team and, we need to get them into a bigger house because they have so many girls. And I'm like, at the time, I think houses.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking
I
about?
think houses
Who are
feel
we?
small. think houses feel big when you have little
We're
kids.
starting to buy houses for our employees. No, I understand. We were just
Yeah,
saying.
Maria's next on the list.
Yeah. she did just move.
No. I feel like today, okay, literally, like, like last week you had like huge energy level. I feel like for as bright as the outfit that you have on today, like our energy level is a little lower today.
Really, that's so interesting that you say that because, first of all, this dress is wild, and it's one of those things that I bought a long time ago when I was working in a corporate office, and I put it on today, and I was like, did I really used to wear this? It's a dress I know you're not a huge fan
Okay,
of.
remember how like you like wanted, or maybe it was me getting rid of one of the things. Was it the moo that I was like I hid or got rid of, or you're like,
He
where's
hates.
my moo?
I have a moo dress that I absolutely love, and he absolutely hates. But like every woman needs a good moo,
Right.
especially when I was pregnant. But he hates it so much that I just wear it every time he goes out of town because I'm like,
Yeah.
fine, I'll just be
I feel
comfortable
like
in
this
my own
dress is
right.
in that same category.
That's fine, you know. And what's hilarious is I walked into my mother's to drop off the baby this morning, and she was like, "I love that dress," and I
Does
thought,
she?
well, no offense, mom, if you're listening, but like my mom says I love that dress. You're kind of like, ooh. Is it good? Is it bad? What
Well,
does that mean?
I feel like the designer there was kind of like, hey, we need a 10th outfit to add to the collection. And someone's like, I got an idea. And they're like, okay, Larry. Hey, I think we need to let Larry design something because he's been
Well,
asking for a
here's the
long
thing.
time. He's like,
It is a bright dress, but so you're on morning baby duty.
and he's just like drag and drop. He's like dragging the design. He's like, I think this would look good.
blocks. I don't think it would be that bad if it weren't for like the squared brown part. You know, if it was just like dark blue with like the floral, but it got a little crazy. You know,
Yeah.
Larry.
No, it's definitely designer and it probably costs too much money.
No, this shit came off of Amazon
Okay.
for like not
No,
much
but
at all.
originally, like I guarantee you, some like super slim, 5'9" supermodel
What are you trying to say?
walked down an aisle with that dress on. It was like,
So-
and people were like, "Oh my gosh, look at that design."
I
Look
don't
how
know.
amazing it is."
Maybe in the 50s. This has not been this particular design has not been trending for quite some time.
I feel like it's Melrose Place, like 90210 era.
I just got excited about
So
it
it's so
on
funny
Amazon.
because I saw my sister, for Mother's Day. I went and surprised mom.
Oh, we
and
should talk
my
about
sister
that.
Came, and,
Can you talk into this microphone? You're not really speaking in the
No, you can hear me just fine. But I mean, hello everyone. And so anyway, we go there. My sister, she cut her hair short, and then she has this comb over thing, and I'm like, first of all, your hair looks great, but I feel like
I'm pretty sure it's called
totally-
a side part for a woman.
And no,
she has a comb
no,
over.
No. I'm literally. She like put like hairspray on it, like gel, and I'm like, okay, Tiffany and there's Thiessen, like.
Who the fuck is that?
Saved by the Bell?
Tippity.
Your outfit is straight out of Saved by the Bell.
It is. Tiffany.
my gosh.
You said Tippity.
I said Tiffany. Tiffany Amber Thiessen, the crush of every young man
I know.
who was 10 years old.
Is that Kelly Kapowski?
Yes, it was Kelly Kapowski.
Kelly.
Yeah.
I loved Kelly.
Yeah, so did I.
She was my bestie. Maybe I'm channeling my inner Kelly.
You know what? And I'll tell you what's really crazy is you go from Saved by the Bell and then you go to the summer. And then they brought in, oh my gosh, no, I can't think of her name. Anyway, it was the
Jessica?
summer crush.
Slater's.
No,
Crush?
not Slater's crush.
Oh.
It was Zach's crush in the summer. And her dad owned the
Anyone
resort that
other
they
than-
all just happened to get
I do
job
love
at.
Saved by the Bell, but anyone other than Kelly, I just forgot about him.
Okay, first of all, I loved Kelly, but then it was like, then she came and I was like, oh yeah.
No,
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah. She had brown hair too.
But speaking of Mother's Day, when you went and met your sister, so, okay, everyone recalls on the podcast, Chris and I discussed Mother's Day, and he was like, what would you like? Because Abigail's so young. And I said, a card would be nice. But with that being said, what I should have known to say, what I should have said was like, just for you, like to not have to do any extra work that I wouldn't typically have to do.
Okay, well, first of all, so a couple things here. We got to back up a little bit. Okay. One is I wanted to very clearly understand what your expectations were because this is the first time that you celebrated Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. I not want to disappoint you, but you know what? At the same time, you're not my mom. So it's kind of like,
wow.
you have kids and I can coach those kids.
Wow.
I can coach those kids
Wow.
to help. And obviously I have a part to play, right? I have a part to play.
I think you do.
And so I'm going to help facilitate that. Well, we have a 3-month-old, right? And so Like, it's really hard. Like, because pretty much anything that happens is not really from her. It's really from me.
Which is why I said a card would be nice. But anyway,
And
it
so you
was
said a card
still
would be nice.
my day. For the first time ever, it was my day.
So
And
I have responsibilities because I have a mom. I have to do my duty.
so he drove to Naples.
I drove 2 hours south.
to do breakfast with your mother, which initially I was like, that is so lovely. You're such a good son. What a great idea. But when I did night shift the night before and then woke up at 5 a.m. when you left to go see your mother and was up the entire time to take morning shift with our child, I was tired and cranky and foul. And for 4 hours while you were gone and I was on morning duty, all I
Technically, I was
thought,
gone for like 6 hours, but
yeah, it was a long time. And all I sat there thinking, because I had stuff to make for my own Mother's Day celebration with my mom at her house. And I was just like, I
Should have
can't
procrastinated.
freaking believe he left on Mother's Day morning and made me take the morning shift. And now I'm tired and the day is ruined. But it wasn't ruined. It was a wonderful day. But I stewed for a bit there.
you were definitely on.
So
the
I text
you.
you.
You're a stew monster.
I text you and I said, next year, I would like you to stay at home, take care of the child, and let me sleep in.
It's so funny because you sit there, you have these days, and then literally every mom's request in this world is take my children, who I'm the mother of, and do something with them.
Absolutely.
And I do not want to see them.
Because
Put me in the
every
spa.
other day, that is what the mom is doing. And so for the record, every mother loves their children, but they get those moments every damn day. And so, it is very nice to have the help. That is, and I didn't realize until that moment, but you know what? Good for you for helping me recognize on my very first Mother's Day what I want till the end of time. Because I will now know exactly how to answer
Okay,
that
well,
question.
I know your expectations. We'll have to figure it out because obviously I can't just leave my mom hanging.
Well, and everyone, so Chris is like a go above and beyond type of guy. So, I mean, during those 6 hours, the 40 texts I got, oh my God, what did he do for you for your first Mother's Day? I could show you my phone. And I was like, fucking abandoned me. No.
Well, see, that's the other thing is that I
to
wanted to
anybody.
save, and that's the thing is that I do go over the top for things, but Mother's Day, it's like I will help them go over the top for you,
And they need to
you
in
know.
the future.
I mean, we had a 3-year-old that wrote you a card.
3-month-old.
3-month-old
Yeah, that was
that
really
wrote
nice.
you a card.
That was very nice of her.
It was like she got 2 cards. It was like one that looked
Scribbles.
like chicken scratch scribble, where she was just like,
And one was a translation,
and then one
which
was the
very
translation
sweet.
card.
And I might have smiled even bigger if I wasn't absolutely delusional working off of 2 hours of sleep. So I was like, that's really cute. Now I got to give the child a bottle on the morning shift.
I'll tell you what, morning shifts are the easiest. I'll take morning shifts all day long.
Anyway.
So
So Mother's Day, we hope was lovely for everybody. It really, truly was a great day for us. We had some family in town, and it was actually a little rainy.
oh my gosh, I didn't even. I totally didn't make the notes about the boys and shooting.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So like I'm from Florida, obviously, and so I'm a
He's
good
a Florida boy.
And I've grown up shooting, hunting, fishing, sportsmanship my whole life.
Responsibly.
A lot of other people have too, but for some reason, I think when you're in Florida, there's just a little extra crazy on it. And
For some reason. I think everybody listening is like, no definition needed. You were a Florida boy.
yeah, and so we had my 2 nephews, kind of like second nephews, because they're your cousins and their children, but we'll just call them my nephews.
There you go.
And I wanted to do something special for them. And your dad basically was like, hey, bring the Nerf guns over. They really liked that last year. And we had these really cool pop down targets and everything. And I was like, that's a great idea. So I was going to pack them up. And then I thought, you know what? Maybe we should shoot one of these BB guns too. Like,
Well, they're getting a little bit older.
getting a little
so
bit
they
older.
Can be
So I was
responsible.
like,
but I literally was like, can you please message
And
the
I have like
father
these
and
fully
make sure he's
automatic.
okay with it?
Yeah, I have like these fully automatic BB guns. So
course
I'm
he
like,
does.
this is going to be the coolest thing, fun thing ever. And so I messaged him and I said, hey, are you cool with? And his response back literally was like, I think I'm more excited. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So I ended up bringing these things, and I ended up giving kind of what my uncle did for me, which was like, teach safety, right? Because the
Absolutely.
key to this type of thing is doing a lot of safety each time, and it takes repetition, for them to get it, understand the importance and the dangers and everything else. So I give like this whole safety thing, and they're like, "Yeah, let's shoot a bird," and I'm like, "No, we don't shoot animals. Like, we only shoot what we're gonna eat." They're like, "No, we want to," and I'm like, "No." I like 5 times I've said this, and he's like, and I can tell that the older one is just like he's ready,
Excited.
he's excited,
Yes.
and so
He's never done
we
anything
finally
like
get
this.
out, and of course we're on a pond in the backyard, and of course there's a gator in the pond
'Cause we're in
and
Florida.
there's birds, and we're in Florida, and so we get this thing out, and he's shooting one at a time. Well, what's happening is that the rounds are hitting the water, and of course then it attracts the wildlife.
It's like
the
food.
gator
They
thinks
think it's food or something.
food, so it starts swimming towards it. And so, long story short, he gets all excited. I'm like, do not aim over there. And so he turns this thing on full auto. I mean, I let him turn on full auto, and we just shoot. It's like, brrr, and it just grazes right across this thing.
The gator.
And
The
it
poor
jumps in the air.
freaking gator.
It was so scared, and just,
First of all, we do not condone this behavior at all. We have
Yeah.
given safety
No
instructions.
harm was
No
done.
harm was done to any animals. The gator was completely fine and swimming afterwards, aside from just traumatized
Being
that he
scared.
thought his food then just...
But it was so funny because these, we just totally like made this child's like,
Well, and so he
life.
came in and he was like, I shot the gator. I got the gator. And it was like, okay, but remember, this is not good. I'm literally like it's
that's
illegal
not
to
what we
shoot
wanted to
gators.
do.
Don't
We're
go back
not
to your
killing
hometown.
animals.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
please don't brag about this to your friends.
But it
It's
was so
not
cool
good.
because the reaction from the gator was like, it like whole head came out of the
I
water.
didn't see it.
Like trying to bite something.
I'll be honest, when he came in saying it, I didn't actually believe that was the case. I just thought like, oh, that's cute. He thinks he got it. And then I came in and looked at you and you were like, no, he really did.
Yeah, you're like,
and you were
totally.
like, even though I told him not to. And even his mother was just like, I mean, he's got good aim, I guess.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where you're like proud of your child. You're
Yeah.
like, I'm really proud of him. Man.
You're like,
done
wait
really
a second.
good.
Yes. So that
But,
was the second half of Mother's Day, and it
That's
ended up
crazy.
being pretty lovely. But yeah, the weekend was good. It was rainy on Monday here. We need rain, but the streets, I mean, they flood.
Oh my gosh. I was driving in the Stay Cool van. I had flashbacks of last summer when we flooded.
I know.
And I even sent you a video of the streets because I was like, oh my gosh, like it is so full right now.
The sky's open in Florida, and a lot of rain will come at once. And so you do have to be really careful about where you are when the skies choose to open. But considering how long it's been since we've gotten rain, I was shocked at how quickly our streets
Right,
flooded
because
this
the
year.
streets, they're so dry, they should absorb. There should be so much absorption in
To
the
take
ground.
place before
Yeah.
it floods again. Like last year, it's like, oh, okay, it's been raining for a month. You're like, I get the flooding.
But we're also in downtown in the city, so it's kind of like, we had a lot of concrete jungle.
Yeah.
So a lot of these streets are just kind of flowing into this kind of central area.
Concrete
so
jungle.
it's kind of crazy.
Now I have, who is that? Alicia Keys?
What?
Concrete jungle where things are made of. New York. Who is that? Alicia Keys? Okay, thank you.
Oh,
Where
it's not,
were
it's
you?
not Beyonce.
Oh my God.
Isn't there like
The other beautiful.
Isn't Jay-Z or someone sing the like a male part to that song?
I don't know.
I feel like there is. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're wrong. I think you're
I'm
wrong.
gonna totally Google it.
But anyway, so things with the current economy are still continuously unknown.
Yeah, tariffs today, tariffs tomorrow. And this is, I actually did not think this would impact us. I did not think it was going to impact us. But you know what happened just this last week?
You didn't think the tariffs were going to impact us?
Not at a macro level.
Okay.
No.
No, I don't know what happened last week. I mean, I thought our
Well,
conversations
Chinese
been
tariffs were 130%.
150%.
150%.
Yeah.
Now they've gone down to 30% for like 90 days.
Okay.
And the reason why I say it didn't affect us is because, what are we buying from China?
Right,
What is our company buying? Nothing. Well, except for the fact that we're actually looking at expanding our spice manufacturing business. And I just got a quote for the machinery, which is $65,000 to build an entire automated spice packing line from beginning to end. And then I thought, oh, this isn't 65. This is
It's
160
Yeah.
because of the tariffs, and because they literally put a line in. It was like, and then whatever port fees, dues that tariffs are gonna have. And I was like, oh shit,
Yeah, no, not good.
not good.
No.
Like right when we're trying to expand.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just not the right expansion move right now.
It might not be. I might literally go over there in a boat and get it myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of far.
I know. Egg prices dropped for the first time in a long time, apparently because there's an avian flu outbreak?
Okay, first of all, prices don't drop when there's an avian flu outbreak. Usually prices go up when there's an
That's what I
avian
thought
flu
because there'd be
outbreak.
less of them.
Yeah.
Well,
Because they
dropped.
usually kill the chickens.
Right.
When there's a
so
flu,
there's less
they
chickens.
literally like massacre
Yeah.
chickens.
Or they're like, oops, the flu's in the eggs, so they're a little bit discounted until we can get through the diseased ones. We have so few eggs, we just can't even serve them up.
I love eggs.
Yeah. Speaking of health,
Yeah. Oh, segue.
the United Healthcare finally nominated their new CEO. And it's a guy who worked there for years. He's like 72, I think. And he was, and he was the leader for years prior to this last guy. And apparently, there's news articles out, which blows my mind. He's got a $1 million base salary and like $60 million of equity to take on this high risk position as he apologizes for all of like the shortcomings that the company's experienced. And I'm like, okay, can we just for a second recognize that some man who obviously had issues just murdered an executive at that company because he hates how much money the executives are making while people are over there, poor little
Paying
them,
for all their
paying for
medicine
their
and
health
stuff.
insurance, which is so crazy because the guy who ended up doing it came from a very wealthy family and had.
I know.
It was so strange.
He
But
like his manifesto. And,
everyone take care of your mental health. But that being said,
well,
it's
here's the
insane that
thing.
they're publicizing this. I'm like,
Well, they have to because they're probably a public company. If you're a public company, you have to say these things.
Really?
Yes.
I would be like, that is crazy. Actually, I didn't think about that. They are definitely a public company, but I would be like, I will take the role if we can leave my personal pay,
the problem,
my personal business before I get murdered in the
reason why
street.
individuals make a lot of money is because a lot of times this is the last role they'll have. And I say that because it is so public that if they fail, no one's going to hire them again. And they have these golden parachutes because, like, this guy's not going to work and working 40 hours a week. This guy's probably going to dedicate 80 hours or more as his nights,
At
his
72
weekends.
years old?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, you'd have to.
You
and right
have
now,
to.
he's
You're-
got to be
you're
a
in a
passionate
role.
individual. I feel like I'm
Think about
scooting
all
off
the
screen here.
people. Think about all the people who are trying to get that you have to work with across all different facets of your company. You're going to have people underneath you and probably a lot of senior presidents or senior vice presidents.
Oh, yeah.
But the reality is that even
He's
if
gotta
it
turn it
looks
around.
like you're having a good time and you're going from events to events and you're the face of the company, you're putting in ungodly amounts of time and you are responsible for the bottom line.
Well, I hope
Now,
by
I'm
the
sure
time
his
you're
60
72.
million are actually probably more like options, which are tied to performance. So if the company does well, then they actually become something. So usually there's like a strike price. So let's say it's like $30 a share or something like that, and the stock goes down to 25.
Right.
He's not going to
No.
not going to execute on those. They lost $5 a share.
Right.
But if they went up to 35, he can basically go out, get a loan, borrow money or however it's structured, buy those shares, immediately sell, and make $5 a share or whatever that's worth.
Whatever
there's so many
it
different
is.
ways. But you
Yeah,
said,
'cause they're public.
I'm not sure if I trust what you wrote down, which is $60 million of equity. That can be, in so many different ways.
I'm sure it's equity options.
Yeah, it could be some type of option.
Valued at today, maybe.
But it would be equity in the company based off performance, etc.
Yeah, who knows?
And it could be based off of a period
I
of
thought
time.
it was crazy that they were announcing
Trust
that, but
me,
I suppose
I would
they
take
have
the
to.
first person that offers me $1 million base and 60 million equity. I'll take that position. That'll be the last one we work, and then I'll be done.
No, let's just stick to our own company.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe that's where you'll get yourself through this whole business endeavor. Maybe that's
Yeah.
how much our company will be worth.
60 or 1?
Both I'd take today. And
Well,
then
actually, talking about that, we just last week we signed another software contract, just a little bump on one of our existing ones, and then we found out last night that we were selected for another contract, which I don't think it's going to be as easy, but it does.
well, no contract is easy. The ones that we're currently working on right now are
When I say easy, it's kind of like it's pretty straightforward. This one's not going to be straightforward, I feel like. But the reward might be it's going to allow us to grow our team. We'll probably add at least one more person here in the
We'll need
office.
to.
And, we have to.
Yeah.
We are already planning to do that. So,
Yeah.
and then we have another employee that'll hopefully start in about 2 months on the development side. So I'm pretty excited about that as
very
well.
exciting. Continuous growth. Continuous growth. You have some other things on here, but before we leave, like the state of the economy and things going on in the world today, there's been a lot of discussion around changes in student loan repayments through the Trump administration and these programs. And
Yeah.
it's so crazy. It's like
People
mainly
want their money back.
impacting the millennials and the Gen Zs, I believe. And
Yeah.
that's really like my generation, anyone who kind of went to college around the time that I did.
The early 2000s.
Yeah. And
Or for you, the late 2000s.
yeah, but still
You,
early to late. Either way. I graduated college in I'm going to age myself here, 2009.
I was going to say 2009.
But anyway, a lot of people right now are paying like the bare minimum, which I think was something that Biden did. So in my opinion, and again, no one cares about my opinion, and I'm not here to give any political advice or anything like that. But I would say
Do tell.
these are we're on two sides, two extremes, and you know it when these people signed into these programs. A lot of them signed in given multiple different options. One of them being something like, based on your future income, you'll pay a percentage of the income,
Right.
maybe 10% max or something like that. Whereas now, I don't know, I shouldn't even speak on something that I'm not 100% educated on. But what I do know is that it went down to, okay, COVID hit, we're standing up a plan. People can defer loan payments. People can do whatever they need to do to get by. And you know what? It wasn't just student loans. It was everything. You could have deferred your mortgage at the time. You could have deferred your car payments. Like there were a lot of programs being offered because it was a very fragile time in our economy.
Right.
And I don't disagree with anything that was introduced. However, some of those things never got reestablished in the way that they maybe should have been. And so a lot of people have been able to continue to make those minimum payments, which why wouldn't you? You know,
Right.
you owe money back, but if you don't have to pay without penalty, why would you? Unless you're able to just like pay it off outright. But because even I had a student loan, I went to study abroad. And I mean, it was tiny. It was like a little bit of a difference. I was very fortunate to, you know, have support getting through college. And, but it was under $10,000, you know, and even that took me years to pay off just because I wasn't prioritizing it once I graduated. And I'm working these small jobs that are like minimum payments. And I don't think when you're that age, you understand. You can get educated on loans and understand what you need to pay back, but I don't think you truly understand how hard it is to pay your bills plus make that extra money. You know, you're supporting a lifestyle and then supporting a loan that you chose to take out years ago to slowly but surely
Right.
pay it back over the course of time. Well, a lot of people are going from literally, it could be anywhere from you're making a $500 payment today to like a $5,000 payment in a few months once these repayment rules get
Right.
passed through. And a lot of people aren't even aware that it's happening. And if you were like looking to buy a house or doing different things, I mean, a loan officer needs to look 36 months in advance.
Right.
They would come and smack dab be like, I'm really sorry based on what you got. And it could be even
Yeah, it's like
more
dropping
than
a
10%.
bomb into your life.
Absolutely.
You know?
It's a
And
month. These are
do-
monthly payments, not annual. It's like
payments.
$5,000 a month.
You
I
know,
couldn't come up with that today.
And I do agree that that does seem pretty intense and harsh. And there should be, you know, if there was a deal in place where it said, hey, my max out of pocket's 10% of my salary, then I think that should be honored. You know, it's really tough because I think a lot of people, they look at school loans and they look at it as like this money came from some magical place that can be forgiven. The reality is that that money is buried in mutual funds and all kinds of companies that are public companies that people have invested their savings in and things. So if you forgive $1 billion, that goes to all these other
Right.
people who are older who invested in certain bonds and other things. So it's not free money. I know I was looking over there, saw something weird. I'll explain later. But anyway,
Is there a bug?
yeah. It was,
Is there a squirrel? No,
But-
it is crazy.
so
and there are
I'm
programs
like,
that
hey, you are an adult, and whether or not you are told wrong or right or value, the reality is you owe the money.
Well, you owe the money, however, and people don't have a problem paying the money based on the circumstances they
I had to go to
originally
the
signed
army
into.
to go to college.
No, and I get that. And here's what's crazy though. There are different like forgiveness programs. You pay a certain amount because let's be honest. Here's the other thing. Yes, you owe the money. Yes, it was given to you, but like who makes the rules up on those interest rates at any one point in time?
I will
mean,
tell
the
you that
interest
my
rates on
roommate,
student
who's
loans are
from
insanity.
college, who's a doctor now, him and his wife both ended up working through a program, and the hospital ended up paying off all of their debt.
Either they pay it
wearing
off
so many years.
or they
And
submit and get a forgiveness program for whatever the remainder is.
if you work
worked
for
so many
government or
years
other place like
yes.
that, it's not a forgiveness. Whoever that other person is pays it for you. There's no such thing as forgiveness.
No, there is.
No, it's not forgiveness. If you work for a municipality and they say we're going to forgive your loans, it means they're going to write a check to whoever has that loan
There's
and pay
certain
it to zero.
criteria where if you're, but anyway, there
If
are
you work
some
for
people,
a nonprofit and you do this, that money has to come from somewhere.
Okay.
It might be a government grant.
Yeah, true. Okay.
That was
Okay.
sponsored, but that money is going to a private entity. It is a loan.
It's fake numbers being transferred on a computer screen anyway.
No, trust me, it's coming out of our tax dollars.
Yeah. Well, and
If
that's the
something's
thing.
getting forgiven,
All
it's
these
coming out of
poor-
our tax dollars.
All these poor millennials and Gen Z people, they might not even know. All of a sudden, they might not have the money, and then at the
They
end
don't
of the
need
year,
to go to college.
they're going to take them from their
They
employers.
should go to trade
They
school.
can't go back in time and change what they did.
Okay.
But moving forward, it is highly recommended that
It's
you
highly
get
recommended.
yourself a skill.
Well, it's funny because we had recently signed up for ABS. We signed up for the Florida Pre-Play program.
I did, and I
And
would
it's-
like her to go to school.
It's like, how much is it a month?
120 bucks, yeah.
Yeah. So it's $120 a month, right?
And she's
so,
3 months old, so by the time it's
Yeah. So we're going to be paying for 18 years, and there should be about $25,000 in there, which right now will get you a semester, or
$25,000 at $120 a month for 18 years. Is that the math?
Well, all I did was multiply $100 a month times 12. That's $1,200 multiplied by 20.
Okay.
So 1,200 by 20 is 24,000.
Well, that's interesting because they were saying that isn't school today worth like 66? I thought it was like valued at $66,000 or something like that.
Look, I don't know what's going on, and I trusted you, but now I'm starting to doubt. I mean,
No,
I need to
don't
take a
doubt
look
me.
at this. Do I need to take a look at this?
No,
Okay.
it's perfect.
All right. Anyway, the quick math is it's
Well,
it's 30.
I think
Let's
in
say it's under 30.
I will say my 4-year education at a state college was 4 of the best years of my entire life. Not only did I enjoy the education, I had fun. I worked hard and played hard. I had a great GPA. So whatever. But no, it's some amazing life lessons. I love the ability to be able to like live on campus and, make new friends and learn life lessons.
That's awesome.
Whatever. So I think that
It's funny.
the
is that
opportunity to go to
we
school
have
should
very
not be that
few
difficult.
Serious, we have serious conversations all the time, but like there's very ones that you and I really have like
Massive disagreements on.
disagreements on, right? And it's so funny because you have this thing where you're like you put out this thing where you're like, I want our child to go to a state school that's huge, that's this massive top, Big 10, the Big 20, and you have
Big
this
football games, big
football
parties,
games. And I
lots
sit
of
there
fun.
and right, it's based off of fun and everything else, and I'm
No,
like,
it's great education as well. Are you kidding me? Look at the University of Michigan. It's like practically an Ivy League. It is. Why are you laughing?
okay. Hey, look, there's a lot of smart professors out there. You know what? Here's the reality. Our kids, college might not even exist in 20 years. AI is so bizarre. Chatting with an AI professor will teach you more than any person will ever know. So
I think
what is
college
that
will
going to look
exist.
at?
They still need to
It
have
might just be partying. College
No.
might just be partying.
and virtual classrooms. But
virtual
there
classrooms.
needs to be some sort of accountability to like show up and have like-minded individuals that you can still like talk to and work through things. Labs. I love
Yeah.
labs.
Yeah, labs are great. Well, actually, who was I just talking with? And it was like, we were talking about doctors, and it was like AI doctors. And you will have a conversation with a doctor that will be monitoring your heart rate in real time, that will know your entire history, your family's history, everything about you. And that really the only thing that a physical doctor will be there for will be to actually look in you and make sure that you're a real person. To see physical
We had
results.
this whole conversation in here that AI will start to recognize photos that you send in, but I mean,
It's coming.
Yeah, the world is changing. That's for
The
sure.
world is changing, and for us, it's just about keeping up.
But right now, I will say, if you have student loans and you aren't aware of what's going on with the changes, you should certainly educate yourself so you're not financially struggling in the coming months as it changes and these requirements need to be met. There might be programs being introduced to help.
Gotcha. Well, here's my thoughts. Is
Gotcha.
we have AI plugged into our newest software project, and we are doing an angel round, and we are getting some fabulous feedback from everyone. I actually just met with someone at the end of last week. It was on or two nights ago, and he loved our investor packets. We're sending this huge 4-foot box out with a board in it. And
You're
everything.
always very creative and unique when you're either trying to get something like.
Well, you want to get people's attention
Yes.
and breakthrough. By the way, the Team Me Angel Fund, the first box I sent out, I messaged the guy Tim. I've known him for a long time, over 10 years, and I messaged him. I said, "Hey, I got a new pitch deck. I'd love to get some feedback. Can you take a look at it?" And so he was the first one to go. And I'm thinking I'm going to get feedback. It's been like weeks, and now I'm like, did they even get the thing? So I'm like calling and being like, "Hey, did you get a box?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, there's a box in here." Anyway, he's been traveling and doing anything else. So anyway, I guess he's felt bad. So he ended up asking someone else in the office to reach out. And I talked to them, and anyways, I know this sounds so arrogant. It's gonna sound so arrogant. And she's like, "Okay, well, have you applied to our fund?" I go, "The reason why you got a 4-foot box in the mail is because I'm not one of the 250 weirdos that are putting their weird ideas into your little funnel for investment." Like,
That's what you do. You
it's
try to
relations.
stand out and get people's attention.
Yes, we're real. We're
Yeah.
not sitting here filling out your forms hoping we get a call back.
I don't think you've ever
You call
followed a
me-
process or filled out a form in your life.
Seriously.
You're just not that type of
No,
person.
I'm like the total rule breaker.
Yeah, no, you're like, if it comes to even like before you owned your own company, applying for a job that you wanted. I mean, you were sending Mike Bidwell,
Yeah.
bless his heart.
Did
rest
you
in
ever
peace.
did I ever tell you the one where I sent the phone to the guy?
Oh, I don't know.
It was
I think you
it was a
must have.
corded phone.
This is how he like applies for jobs. He finds the CEO's like home address, and he's like, "I'm going to send them a package."
Well,
and get
there's
their
this
attention.
thing, and it was like there's these companies that have like business associates like that work for them who are like really good, and then they get farmed out to companies.
Yeah.
And so I was exploring it, and I sent this guy a box, and in the box was a note to him, and just said, "I'm great at solving problems, and if you can't find a phone near you, please plug this one into the nearest outlet." And it was literally a phone.
And did it
you
work?
could-
Did it have enough? Did it have minutes on it?
and it had my number pre-programmed in the
It's the
cord of
only
phone.
number in the phone.
It's the only
That's
number
hilarious.
on it. And so literally, and I tell people when you're trying to find opportunities or jobs, like you need to cut through the paper. So the guy gets it. So I get a notification from FedEx, package delivered.
Well, and that's the other thing. You know when people have received. It's
You
like
know
you
you
make
get it
people
because you
sign
spend the $15
and get the tracking on it.
get the tracking,
Yes.
and you get it. And so this guy calls literally within 15 minutes, just like Mike Bibble did, right? Well, it was maybe an hour for Mike because obviously he went on his desk or whatever. But this guy calls me up and he's like, we don't know who you are, but everyone in this company wants you to work for us right now. And it's because this is awesome. Like, what made you do this? And I'm like, I don't know. I just came up with the idea. And it's that kind of stuff that gets people's attention. And you're like, I want to work with these people.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, you know what he told me? He literally goes, "You're too good for this job." He goes, "You'll hate it here."
Well, and there is an element.
And he was honest, like, because I was so like out there.
You are an outside of the box thinker. You have to have the freedom to like come up with ideas and bring them to life. And that has been some of your problem working in corporate businesses in the past is that
I'm a problem child.
Well, no, you've been restrained by, the red tape or the hierarchy or the processes or
Right.
the corporate life. And that's just, you've always thrived in startups or entrepreneurship.
Right.
But when you're bucketed in a major company, like you've done great, you add value.
Oh yeah, when I joined the
make
neighborhood
great
team,
money.
and
Yeah.
it was kind of like I was literally somewhere between janitor and kitchen cleaner.
Not at all, but it just wasn't. And literally, again, outside the box
Couldn't do
thinking,
anything there.
you learned so much about the inside of the business, went outside the business, started your own business, and now you contract.
I know I do what I should have done for them working.
Yeah.
They could have got us cheaper.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
much cheaper.
yeah.
Well, maybe not. I
No.
think we gave them a good deal.
But anyway, what else do we got going on today? We kept watching last night. This is completely aside from the point, but
Well, I have something about stats.
I was going to talk about the American Murder story.
Okay, if we have minutes left, we can talk about if we have time, which we not now, we'll talk about your American Murder show.
Well,
No,
we still,
what I was
I
going to
still
talk
haven't
about
made
is,
it to the end.
and it's so funny because when I was to give you some backstory, and I've never done a drug in my life, and the reason why I don't do drugs is because I
You're
would get
crazy
addicted.
enough.
Yeah, no, I think I do have like that addictive personality, and I bring it back to college when I would play video games, right? So like I had to stop playing video games because I just enjoyed it. I could spend hours doing it.
I am so glad you're not
And
in
at
that
the
phase
same
of your
time,
life because
I know. So at the same time,
I would hate that.
in the 90s, when I was in college, the stock market was it was the internet boom. And we would invest in stocks and we'd watch them. Like I'd hit the refresh button and be like, oh my gosh, I made $5, And like there was this addiction to checking. And I actually had to stop investing because I had too big of an addiction to refreshing the screen to see what was happening.
That's
with
how you
my
were
money.
when we first invested in the coin here in town.
Yes, when we were
That's how you were.
Exactly.
And
So
that's
these
how you are
things
with
come-
Amazon stats. That's how you are with dusted
Yes,
orders every
yes.
day. That's how it's here.
When anything new, so
insane.
like when we started the podcast, I would check every day, be like, how many views do we get? How many views do we get? And it's like this thing, and it's
By the way,
hard to break.
I live in bliss. I mean,
You do.
I could do something every day, and you could ask me in a year from now, do you know how many people listen to the podcast? I'd be like, actually, I don't even know if one person's heard it once. Like, I would be like,
But here's
I
the
have
thing:
no
it's
idea.
like I get so obsessed with because we just put Blackened on Amazon, and of course I'm checking like 3 times a day. Like, have we sold any black?
Have we?
No, we haven't. Now it took like 2.5 weeks just for Blackened to get
Someone
into Amazon.
listening, please, for the love
Please,
of
for the love of God, buy
go
a
on
Blackened.
Amazon and buy
And so-
Blackened by Dusted.
But here's the
a
thing
seasoning.
here.
It's very
like
delicious.
we don't get a huge number of sales, and I sit there, and yet I give so much value to these Amazon sales. But yet we'll sell a product to a store and that's 12, right? And it might be days before we get 12 orders. And so I'm sitting there going, like we're selling dozens and dozens of cases, which dwarfs our Amazon probably like 4% of our sales, but yet it's the only thing I look at daily, 5 times a day. And so I'm trying to really get off of that. And then if
So
you
that's
don't
your
know
drug
this,
right now?
this is no, it's been my drug for like the last 2 years.
Oh, I know.
And I got to get off of it.
Trust me.
There have been days where I don't check, and I'm like, yes. But the reason why I check is because if I see a spike, I know to reach out to Maria and be like, hey, what did we do yesterday? Like something that we
promote
did drove
something?
sales.
What happened?
What
Yeah.
happened? What's going on in social? And of course, I got to keep the inventory up to date. But Blackened is like there's no sales, and so we can do this program called Vine in Amazon. So if you don't know this, there's a paid program, and what it does is you pay like a fee. It's like $300, and then you can send up to 30 people can get your product for free
to review it.
and give you a review. Now, when we did that with Dusted, we got a bunch of 5 stars and 4 stars and 3 stars and some 1 stars because people are like, this is just colored salt. You're like, asshole, I just gave you a free thing. Could you at least give me a 4?
Asshole.
Like, literally.
Well, and I was going to say,
There's one dude that posted a picture of a microscope.
didn't even look like
Remember the
ours.
microscope?
Yeah,
You were
under
like,
the
what is that?
microscope.
It's
I
like,
know.
is this like amoebas? It's like, no. This dude flat out like took a microscope and looked at our
So
product.
the seasoning, it is truly a salt and activated
It's
charcoal.
truly a salt.
But I was going to say, Dusted is much more. Not that you need to know how to use it. I mean, you can shake it onto anything and it's going to taste good. But if you're really going to get like the full intention out of Dusted, it's meant to be on a grill, on a cast iron. It's meant to be smoked. It's meant to be like, it is like meant for red meat. It's
Yes.
meant for thick pieces. It's meant to be coated on the outside. And if you're just like sprinkling some on chicken and you're like, it was okay, I'd rather have blackened.
Right, because it's
you're
not
like,
seasoning.
okay, well,
Yeah,
that,
it's
you know,
like,
that's
hey,
not-
you guess what? To use this, you also have to know how to cook.
Yeah. But blackened, I feel like, is one of those things where you could literally put it on anything and people would be like, oh, this tastes good.
And I think people under season. I think they really need us to throw the blackened on. It's good.
Yeah.
And people are like, it's good. It's resonating. We just sold like 6 cases the other day.
People are happy about it.
Yeah, and we're already out. Our second batch that we made is out, and then I realized that we're going to have to up our game on the seasoning side,
Well, sweet.
on the
'Cause
manufacturing side.
I made that one.
But now we got $130.
Anyway,
Chris.
we have not gotten to the end. For the last 2 nights, we've been tired, and I'm on night shift with the baby. So I usually end up like waking up just to feed her and then go back to sleep. But anyway, it's like another horrible American murder story, but it's absolutely wild.
So you found the last 10 seconds to squeeze this American murder mystery.
Well, it's just so crazy. It's like, I don't know.
poor
I still
guy.
haven't seen the end. I know. Listen, whatever he did,
We fall asleep
right,
both
wrong, or
times.
indifferent. But like,
He did not deserve to die.
I don't know if he deserved to die or not. I can't make that
No.
comment.
No. Let me be
You're
clear.
right.
No one deserves
to
die.
die, especially not like that. But literally,
Cut that out of the.
I'm not gonna. No, I didn't say. What I'm saying is, I don't know if he did anything to provoke a physical argument. No one deserves to die. You are correct. Like they should have just been
Okay.
like separated.
No one deserves to get hit with a baseball bat in the head.
Okay,
How's that?
I agree. Okay, and
It doesn't
without
matter what you do.
What's so crazy is they
mean,
said
if
like
you have a
a
gun.
piece of his skull was like on the table.
Hello, PG.
It's like so, and they were saying like you gotta really
Look, I can't end the podcast with skull talk unless it's Halloween.
I got
Which,
nothing
by the way,
to come out of this.
I'm already getting like really cool like Halloween stuff in my feed. And I'm like,
no.
man, please let us have a good summer and make money so I can buy some Halloween stuff
Oh boy,
for the office.
I've got some better ideas to spend money on.
Yeah? Like what?
Anything but Halloween decorations, literally.
Oh, yeah, 4th of July.
Sure.
I'd like to put some American flags out, some new ones.
Yeah, we got a ton. Some
Okay.
new ones. Okay,
I
well,
feel like this. I feel like we're
thank
ending
you,
on
guys.
such a happy note now. 4th of July, Independence, fireworks, hot dogs.
we should get hot dogs this weekend.
We totally should.
We'll see you guys
let's
next
grill.
week.
All right, we'll see you next week with an update.